Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Money Hungry Mama podcast. I am so excited because I have Jacklin here today. Jacklin, take it away.
Hi there. I am Jacklin. Some people know me as Jackie. I am the owner of both the Therapy Hub and just Speechy. So I am a speech therapist, a mom, and a business owner. So yeah, I started just Speechy about 4 years ago. And I was on maternity leave with my daughter. And I thought to myself, I can't fathom the idea of going back full time.
Mhm.
Job that I had. So I said, you know what? I've had quite a few people ask if I do services like just myself outside of early intervention. And I said, I'll just take this leap of faith. So I did it and I haven't turned back.
Love that.
Yeah. And that was how Just Beachy got started.
Love
And
it.
then since then, about 2 months ago, we opened up the Therapy Hub, which is Just Beachy works out of the Therapy Hub alongside of a plethora of other therapeutic disciplines. So we have occupational therapy, physical therapy, we have a lactation and infant feeding consultant,
Oh,
mental health support for pediatrics and for adults. We have relationship counselor, ABA therapist, stretch therapist, dietitian, Reiki therapy, you name it, we have it.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know what was like that aha moment that was like, okay, the therapy hub needs to exist.
So I dreamt of this like in grad school. This was
I
just a
love it.
dream that I was like, oh my gosh, wouldn't this be so cool? Like the core disciplines that we usually see together, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, we see them, in most
Hmm.
multidisciplinary practices. I was like going into these homes when I was working as a clinical, like in my clinical internships in early intervention. I was getting so close with these families and I was realizing like one of the main missing pieces that I felt like was mental health support.
Mm,
Just so many of these families would, tell me that they're feeling
yep.
alone, isolated. And I'm like, we should really have mental health in these facilities too. And then it just kind of grew from there. And I've been like keeping my eye on some places. And then I walked into this facility. This was like supposed to be my 10-year plan down the road.
Wow.
And I'm like 3 years in. And I walked into the facility and it was perfect for what I needed. So I was like, came home. I told my husband, I was like, I found it. And he was like, all right, let's do it.
My gosh. So what made you go to this facility? Did you go with intentions of looking at it for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I thought you like just randomly walked in.
No, 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 no. So I always thought that I was going to buy something, not rent. So I always like once a week during my office hours, just, how sometimes you do this for like
Yes.
Zillow with like houses, you have no intention of actually buying.
100%.
That's what I would do with places that I would anticipate, oh, I'm going to build this. It's going to be a house and I'm going to make it into
Oh my
all these
gosh.
going to be different therapies. And then one of those days, I just like, instead of on the buy, I just flicked it over to rent. And it was like one of the first places. I was like, let me just go see. So I told my mom, I'm like, don't get excited, but I'm just going to go look at this place. She's like, I'm coming with you.
Oh my gosh.
And then it happened.
That is really cool. Okay, first off, I am an avid Zillow dreamer of like looking at it and just like deciding how I'm going to design these multi-million dollar houses that I'll one day get. So like I can't imagine how it must feel to actually be like looking for your business and like a 10-year plan business and just be like, okay, like I'm looking at this today and it's going to be incredible and amazing. I love that so much. So now you have this place, you found this place. What did you think about, like, with decorating and everything? Did you just, like, already know what you were gonna do, or, like, did you hire somebody in?
It's funny. Like, I went through this whole thing. Like I said, I really walked in and I knew it was mine, but I was like, okay, now what? Right.
Yeah.
Decorating was one thing where I'm not super artsy. My mom is, luckily, and I have a she is an interior designer who I've been also speaking with. And honestly, it's still a work in progress, the whole designing of the place.
Love it.
But yeah, we had a custom woodworker come in and he built us playhouses from scratch. A fantastic like small business. I'm really big on supporting small businesses. So I had him come in and I was like, "Hey, this is my dream and like this is what I'm thinking for our waiting area is like a pretty big play space and a play area. So we've got these like
That's
massive
awesome.
tall things and that was really all I had. Like design wise, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I just know what toys I want. I know what therapy I want, and I know I need really good coffee for the moms.
That is really cool. Okay, so in this space, you go in and the waiting room is a giant playroom, which is, like, amazing. I think I've only seen one ever else like that, and it was the dentist.
Yeah.
office and they had like a big playroom in it. I thought that was so cool. You have coffee for moms, 10 out of 10, already winning with that. Now, how does it actually work? Because you have like all these different therapies. So, like on certain days, is there certain therapists that use certain rooms or?
Yeah. So what we do is so each one of the businesses within the therapy hub is their own business. So
Cool.
we haven't engrossed these businesses. They all kind of run themselves, but we share clientele. And as long as we have, consent signed, we share clients and things like that. So some of our rooms are full-time rooms. So like just Speechy has a full-time room. Both of our mental health providers have full-time rooms. And then some share rooms. So our OT and our PT share a room 3 days and 2 days. Like our ABA therapist shares a room with a stretch therapist. And then we have our Reiki provider, our infant feeding specialist, and our dietitian. They all share a room. So yeah, it just kind of like it's based on what everyone needs.
Okay. I've like so many questions because so these businesses are still standalone businesses. It's basically you have the office space, and I'm assuming they each pay rent for their space.
Yes. So basically, we just figured out what we need to do to make the rent work for everybody. We've divided it by that many rooms and that many days. And we all just like support each other. And it's all women owned businesses. And
That's amazing.
it's amazing. Like we have a cleaning lady, we have our lovely cleaning crew, but like the coffee is always stocked and like everything's always clean and people just vacuum. Like it's just so nice. And the women are people who I've actually been referring to before. So like I've told people these lofty dreams before and they were all like, okay, Jackie. And then one day I was like, hey guys, I think I did it. I think I found a spot. And every single one of them who I was like talking their ear off about this for rubber was like, all right, like sight unseen. They were like, sign me up.
I mean, because it's such a brilliant plan. Like, it really honestly is. Like,
Thank you.
literally calling it the therapy hub and having a spot where all these different therapists who would obviously love a space, but maybe don't have the clientele to have to be able to afford rent like that. So, this was like literally a genius idea.
Thank you. That feels amazing to hear. Thank you.
No, of course. Now, you didn't tell anybody, where are you located?
We're in Manahawkin.
Okay. New
Most of,
Jersey, Manahawkin, New Jersey, for
yeah,
anybody
yeah,
listening.
Manahawkin, New Jersey, Ocean County.
Okay.
He's smack dab in the middle of central Ocean County. But a lot of our therapists, this is either their second location, some of them still do in-home. So Just Speechy still does in-home all throughout Ocean County. So each one of them has, we all have a little bit of a different, specifically what we do, but some of us, have locations in Toms River or Manasquan. So it's just based on whichever business you're asking about.
Okay, so now because we have all of these different practices all in one place, I know you have social media. I mean, that's where we've been communicating. So, how does this social media aspect work? Does everybody kind of contribute or?
So as of right now, I run the social media myself.
Okay.
Any tips you have for me, I'll take them. Yeah, I run it myself, but I just take everyone's ideas and what we do is we do little content nights, which end up just being like a hangout night and it's really fun.
Oh, fun. That
And we just like film like the silly videos. And then the other
is really fun.
is we just as people have ideas, they'll send them to me and then I'll just make them.
Love it. Love it. And the thing is, it's because it is different businesses. So, like, just idea off the top of my head, but like if people are offering different services or whatever, they could just invite the therapy hub as a collaborator. So you don't have to go and make that post. It would just be on their page and the therapy hub.
Yes. And it's helped a lot because like some of our businesses are a little bit more established and then some of our businesses were newer,
Yeah.
which almost all of those businesses that were newer as of August 4th when we opened to the public are now like on waiting lists, which is amazing for me to see. Like I feel like
I
so much pride for those businesses. But it was really nice because we were all kind of able to like just share our following and people, typically if you are a family who has occupational therapy, a lot of the time you do need another therapy and
Yeah.
it is a hassle and you have to go on 5 different days to 5 different therapies.
100%. 100%. Like, it's so true because, like, you know, as a mom with 3 kids myself, like, it's like, go to this doctor and then you go to this doctor and you go to be able to be like, okay, like, you need to go to OT, you need to go to speech, you need to go whatever. And it's like, okay, they're in one spot. Like I could possibly make appointments for all three of them on the same day in one spot. And like that just like made my heart so happy because to do something like that, it's a lot of work. Keeping up with like all of those things is so tough.
Yeah. And then, like, coming from, like, the same, kinda realm,
Mhm.
imagine one of your children needs therapy, and then the other 2 have to sit quietly in a room, and
Yep.
in a waiting room, where you're like, "Oh, well, that's just not feasible." Like, I have a one-year-old and a two-year-old, neither one of them
Yep.
sits still for more than 10 seconds. So,
100%.
like, that's kind of where I came at, with the parent nook. So, our parent nook is basically, like, attached to our pediatric waiting area. But
Mhm.
there's, like, a little bar between the 2, so parents can make themselves a coffee and enjoy their hot coffee, still being within, like, eyeshot and earshot of the child, but be able to get a little bit of space for a little bit of time while their one, child is in therapy and the other one maybe is not having to sit in a waiting room.
You literally have thought of everything. Like that is so nice.
Or and, like, this was something where all the businesses and all the women kinda came together, like, when this initially first started. I would say one thing, and I can't take credit for all of it because then, Miss Alyssa would be like, "Oh, you should really get a changing table in our bathroom." So, we have a changing table in our bathroom, and then our, Sam, who's our infant feeding specialist, she was like, you need to stock that so that the moms don't have to bring their diaper bag and their baby." And I'm like, "You're so right. Let's go grab some diapers."
My
So,
god.
like, all of these things I can't take credit for, but everybody has just, like, come in with their own
That's
ideas.
amazing. That's amazing. Now, started as just Speechy and now you have this like beautiful hub of all these like really incredibly talented women, which is just incredible. And what would you say has been your biggest financial learning curve in this transition?
Um, for me, I feel like I'm a little bit of a control freak maybe. So, I have, like, a lot of difficulty letting go of things, and I feel the
Mhm.
biggest things for me personally has realized that delegating tasks and letting go of things, even though sometimes it may cost you upfront to hire a virtual assistant or go of the billing department and let someone else handle it. It seems like it's more money upfront, but a lot of times it just frees up your brain space and your time to use your expertise where it belongs and let the
Mhm.
assistants and the billing professional use their expertise. I feel like it took me probably up until like 3 months before the hub opened, like from all of Just Beachy, I did everything,
Wow.
like let go of all the things that I'm not the professional in and recognizing that like someone else can do it. They can do it better. They can do it more timely. They can just do it better, really.
Yeah, no, and I think that's something that, we try to do it all, especially in the beginning because of money. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It's money. You don't want to put the money out because you're like, oh my gosh, is this going to work? Is it not? But I think that, like, it is so important to realize that sometimes you do have to, they always say, like, you don't make money until you spend money. And I
Mhm.
feel like it's so true because if you're constantly doing everything yourself, you are physically burning yourself out. Like, it's exhausting to do all those things. Like you're running a speech therapist, your speech therapy, you're running a hub. You're handling all of these everyday mundane things. And it's like, okay, well, if I can get a virtual assistant that kind of blocks my calendar and does all that, I can physically just walk into the office and be like, hello. Like I'm here. I'm present. I don't need to worry about, "Oh my gosh, did I pay the rent and do all of the billing?" Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's such an important thing for all of us to realize, and unfortunately, sometimes, like, we don't have that, we're not able to just go and spend the money up front, but there's ways around it, and a lot of people that I don't think that we always think about is sometimes you can trade services in the
Yes.
beginning.
Yes.
So, like, meaning, if you really wanted somebody for social media, but maybe their child needs speech therapy, bada bing, bada boom. Now you're trading a service of, okay, I'll help your child if you help me with my social media.
Exactly. I've actually just done exactly that. So our stretch therapist, my dad is like the biggest stretch therapy. I don't know if you've heard of stretch therapy. It's like this new therapy where they
No,
literally stretch. It is super relaxing. I just had my first session.
that's cool.
Yeah, and she was kind of in a similar space where she had just left her full-time job and she jumped into this and she was like, "I love your concept. I want to be here. I don't know if I'm fully ready to like pay for a space like this when it's not, because you pay per day, you don't pay per client.
Mhm.
He was like, "I'm not sure about that." And I was like, "Well, tell you what, she's actually my dad's stretch therapist." I was like, "Let's work out a deal. We can kind of work with the numbers and
Yeah.
give." My dad returns every gift. So I was like, "This is something he can't return. Let's do that."
Yeah, exactly. Like doing things like that where doesn't bother you. That's no skin off your back because it was already something that somebody needed, you know? So it's like if anybody is listening that's like, okay, like I really need to hire this, I really need to hire that, like figure out what you can offer and see if there's people that will do swaps because they absolutely will. There's so many people that don't want to put the money out, but they're willing to put some time out.
For sure. And for me too, like one thing is knowing that even if I had to cut my, like, just Speechy pay. So, like, for a while, I would tell my husband, "I really need this billing person. I really need this billing person." And he was actually the person to push me and be like,
Mhm.
"Okay, so cut your pay. Like, cut your pay in half, do your 3 sessions a week. Do it essentially for free, right? Because you're gonna take that money and just pay someone. See how it goes." And for me, like, kinda trading time for
Mhm.
letting go of something has also been helpful for me. If I'm like, I can give my time for free, then that doesn't feel as
Yeah. Yeah, it honestly doesn't. Like, I don't know what it is about it, like, especially as starting out in the beginning, like, it's like, there was so many people in the beginning that I partnered up with changing because it was like, "Oh, can you help me with this? Sure. Can you help me with this? Perfect, swap." And, like, we'll have it done for each other next week, and I just think, like, having that mentality going in it, like, you don't always need to spend the money up front. You can spend some time in an area that you're proud of and like doing and get something in return that you hate doing.
yes, yes.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I feel like, one thing that I love to, like, show other, therapy practices what I've done and what's worked, like, not to end all be all, but just what I've done, and I
Yeah.
similarly, like, if we can give our services for free sometimes, not like speech therapy per se, but maybe free screenings
Yeah.
or, like, free play groups, or, like, I just did something with Ocean Wave Mamas that was a free fall farm play date. We came in for free, the farm came in for free, and everyone benefited, it was like free PR, where
Mhm.
it's same thing, right? It doesn't feel as risky because I'm giving my time and I'm not paying for it, but,
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes giving your time for free is like an aha moment.
Yeah. 100%. 100% because it gets you out there.
Mhm.
Like, literally, especially that event too, like, it definitely brought in moms who were looking for your services and looking for those things, and it's like, okay, now you're in front of your whole entire audience for your time, which is incredible. So true, so true. So you have a lot going on, right? And you're obviously a mom with young kids, as you just said. How do you personally fill your cup?
I'm working on that, to be quite honest.
I love it.
I know my strengths and my weaknesses. That's definitely one of my weaknesses. I feel like being a mom was something that I always wanted to do. So for me, a lot of times, like coming home, like giving the kids a bath feels like filling my cup. And I know that's not really like the right answer,
Yeah.
but it is. I do like a book club through my mental health facility, and that feels like filling my cup. And honestly, my girlfriends, like, our slogan is "It takes a village, let us be yours." And I feel like that comes from like me having a really strong village and knowing how
Yeah.
that helps. So I would say if I did think of something, those would probably be them. But also a lot of times my children feel like filling my cup. That's probably like a little bit nerdy, but
No, it's beautiful because it is so true. It comes into the point of where we sometimes feel mom guilt of doing things for ourselves, and you guys know, I'd say this all the time, like, I hope you guys do things for yourselves, like, she joined a book club, she has her girlfriends, like, she still does things for herself, but come on, I agree, like, those little faces, and they're so excited to see you, and this is something that, you wanted for so long, like, how could it not fill your cup? I always say, like, I have an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and 2-year-old, and he's, like, literally, like, my best friend. Like, on Friday night, like, I went out with his friend and their mom, and I had the best time, and I was like, "This is so much fun," as if he was, like, my 36-year-old bestie over here. So it's like, it's so true. It's so true.
so funny. I literally had the same this weekend. Was we had our fall play date, which I spent the whole time like holding my 1-year-old and just engaging with their children. And then I went from there. We drove straight to a birthday party, 4 or 5-year-old birthday party. And then the next day we woke up and that was, with those girlfriends and their kids.
Yeah.
Next day we woke up, had 2 more birthday parties. And I texted them at the end of the day and I said, is it silly for me to say that this is my favorite weekend that I've had in a really long went to birthday parties and a children's event. Why is this my favorite thing I've done all week? All
Love it because you're embracing the best part of motherhood. It's a beautiful chaos. That's like literally what I always say. It's a beautiful chaos, but like, dang, it's so worth it. Every second is so incredibly worth it. What is the biggest difference between the version of you that started your business and the one running it now?
Boy, that is a good question. I would say, like, kind of circling back, just like realizing that I don't have to do it all and that I shouldn't do it all.
100%.
Not only do I not have to, but it's best if I don't. Like, it is best if I'm not my insurance biller, and it's best if one who knows it better does. And even therapeutically too, like a lot of times I read the notes and, I'll be like, oh, I should really contact my therapist and tell her that I have this really good idea for her client. And I'm like, now knowing, I'm like, no, actually, she is there day in,
Yeah.
day. She knows that child so much better than me. And my therapists, are incredible. I go to them for help all the time. But, realizing like, yeah, everyone has their own role and it's better that way, that I'm not King Tut.
I love that. I love that. And I think, if we're being honest, I feel like I'm finding that space now. Like, the money hungry mama and doing all of this, it is most of the time, like 90% of the time, a one woman show. I just hired my first VA. And it just feels like this like huge weight. And I'm like, what else can I divvy up? Because it doesn't have to be you. Just because it's your business and you are, your heart is fully in it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be other people who you're obviously paying or trading time with that aren't going to care as much as you're going to care. Maybe not as obsessed as you're going to be obsessed, but they're still going to care and want to do the good job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is that's like a good point to make too, because you are right. No one's going to care as much as you and I about you and I's dreams, right?
100%.
Yeah. So it still lives in the back of my brain,
Uh-huh.
but you're so right. Like finding that happy medium of knowing no one is going to care as much as I do. So maybe these are some things I still I still
Yeah.
hold closely, but also being like, yeah, there's enough things that don't fall under that.
Yeah, because you don't want to break. Like, these dreams are meant to chase and we're meant to go after them as hard as we possibly can. But like, you physically don't want to break because if you're broken, literally everything's broken. Your business is broken. Your home is broken. Your child is watching that. So if it's becoming stressful and there's things that are really taxing, that you should really consider kind of where you strive in and make that list. And
Mhm.
if there's a lot on that things that you're not striving in, maybe it's time to hire some help to kind of help you so this way you don't break.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
No,
How
it's so true.
old your oldest is?
He's 8.
Does he ever, like, watch this is, like, I think about the future of my children
Yeah.
all the time, and I'm like, what are they gonna think, like, when they're 8 and 16 of, like, oh, because they're 2 and 1 right now, so they don't realize, but is he like, "Wow, this is so cool that my mom is doing this? Because
Oh my gosh, he thinks I'm YouTube famous. I don't know why. I'm like, Noah, I was like, I literally have like less than 100 followers. He goes, Mom, like you're on YouTube. Literally anybody can go and find you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he hypes me up so much because, like, for me, like, you know what social media is, you know what numbers are. He doesn't care at all. Like, literally, he'll watch like YouTube on our TV, and all of a sudden, my reel will pop up or something. He's like, "Mom, this is what I mean. You're famous." Like, he doesn't understand the algorithm. He's like, "This is what I mean. Like, you're doing the thing," but he loves it. He thinks it's so cool, especially because like I write children's books, like, that was my original hustle. So when I would go into his school, I hands down think when he was in kindergarten, I read in front of his class, that will forever be my biggest accomplishment, is, like, watching his face, like, looking at his friends, like, that is my mom. And,
oh,
like, it is literally the best thing ever.
that is the best thing ever. Also, though, I kind of felt like that. Like, when we had our first conversation and you said, "Well, do you wanna be?" Because I just messaged you and, like, "You're so cool," basically. "I think you're really cool. Do you wanna be friends?" And you were like, "Do you wanna be on my podcast?" And I was like, "What?"
My gosh, look at it. You brought tears to my eyes. It's so true, it's so true, but, like, I think, first off, that just made my heart, like, so stinking happy, but it comes into the fact of we never realize the impact that we're having because
Mhm.
we're the ones doing it every single day. So, like, imagine you sitting here and, like, somebody is going to be listening to your podcast that comes to you for speech and loves the idea of your therapy hub and all these things, and it's like, wow, like, they're listening to you being like, "Oh my gosh, like, how does she do this? Like, I would love to emulate this. I would love to be a part of this." And I just think it's so crazy because, like, this is the exact conversation of we don't realize the ripple effects we have because we live in our heads rent free.
Yes, yes, and we're our biggest
Oh
critics.
my gosh, our
Like,
biggest critics.
yeah, for
But I
sure.
think it's really cool, and I think that you should think about, like, the goal is that everybody across the US is listening to this podcast. I know I have a couple in different countries, but, you know, for you, I think in, like well, let me ask you first. What is, like, your 5 to 10-year plan with the therapy hub?
Oh boy, so here's the thing is, like, I've always had my 5, 10, 20, 30.
Huh?
Big on that. I'm big on, like, thinking it, dreaming it, and now I just feel like everything is all scrambled because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much sooner than I thought." I don't even know if I'm done having babies, so I'm like,
I love that.
do I what's super important right now? But
Mhm.
I don't know. I think about this a lot of I always go towards like, okay, where's the next hub gonna be? Because it has been so amazing. Like just when I see a family walk out of their lactation infant feeding session and go into their PT session, neither one of those are me. And it fills my heart so much. Or when I see someone come right out of ABA and then they're like to their speech therapist, like, hey, it fills my heart that I'm like, okay, so maybe there's more facilities and, more of the hubs in the future in different counties. Or just maybe I go back for a second. I don't know, I feel like it'll kind of the next year or so, like, letting the hub settle in will probably determine. And also, my husband might rein me in at some point.
Love it. And then obviously me as being a money hungry mama, my mind immediately went to like, you should think about franchising. Like, I don't know what it takes to do that, but like at least coming up with a plan of how to franchise, I think would be really, really stinking cool because I just, this was such a brilliant idea. And I feel like having the name The Therapy Hub, first off, genius. And then it's like, everybody kind of is still doing their own business. So it's not like you're taking anybody's piece of their pie, And I just think it's such a great idea.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's definitely been like because I have looked into what it means to trademark it, what that actually saves me from. There has been a lot of people who said, "Oh my gosh, I've been thinking of doing this for so long," and
Mhm.
and I'm like, "That's so cool." Like, it's really cool that you can come here, and I'd love for people to see it and
Yeah.
see what's actually happening here. But yeah, I have thought towards that, and I think that might end up happening. So yeah, maybe you'll see one pop up by you.
I love it. I love it because I think it's such a and like, in the like this is how I now I'm just gonna ramble for a second. If the franchise part, like maybe in your contract, you have the builder who did the play sets go out to whatever and they're building the play sets that's included in the franchise part. Like physically setting up the space is included in the franchise part. So that would take a huge release off of somebody else because it physically already worked for you. So it's like, okay, this is what worked. This is where we ordered. This is what we got. This is what you're getting in part of the franchise. And it's like, okay, there you go. And now you do it.
Yeah, and I think and it like, I think I always kind of had that somewhere in the back of my brain because we've, asked everyone when they first came on, like, "How many clients do you have? How many
Mhm.
followers do you have? How many of these things?" So this way, I just actually sent everyone their 1-month check-in of like, "Hey, look at how cool this is. You started at 2 clients and you are now on a wait list." Or
That's so
you
cool.
300 followers and now you're at 900 followers. So, like, whatever the metric is that you're basing your success off of, I tried to document that early on because I was like, I know these businesses are going to thrive. So, I want something to quantify that, not only for them to feel good, but also so that when I do bring this to another place and another person, I can say, look at what it does to these businesses.
That is incredible. First off, that you even thought to do that is so freaking smart. Like, and to be somebody on the other receiving end being like, oh my gosh, like I doubled my business. I'm on a wait list. I'm like, oh my gosh, chills. That
Thank
is so cool.
the OT that is at the facility. Actually, she's been my referral for OT for a while. She's just top notch. I've never met a better OT. I've never seen better skills, and just she's very knowledgeable. And we just had a conversation the other day, and she said to me, from start to finish, I was a little bit of a pusher. I pushed her to get her LLC. I pushed her to do this. And then when it was time, I said, "You're coming with me." And she texted me the other day. She said, like, I never thought I would be how old she is, I'm not gonna say, and have this many, clients and have a waiting list of people to get into OT. And I did that. I was like, "Oh, chills," like, I'm so happy.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, it's been really fun to watch everyone and my business thrive too, just be
Yeah.
thriving, so
But, like, you were so kind in saying, that you loved what I was doing. Like, look at what you're doing. Like, look at what you're doing. Like, you're changing the lives of so many people too. Like, you're changing the lives of all these businesses. It's not just your business that's thriving. Like, look, I'm like tearing up. It's like you're helping all of these other people, which is just like such a beautiful thing. And I say this on the podcast all the time that if at the heart of your business is a service to somebody else and to genuinely be helping, for some reason it steamrolls better because
Mhm.
it's not a selfish act. It's literally to help and to make other people's lives better. And I think when that happens, that's why it moves so quick. And I love those stories because it literally is when that happens. You were like, oh, this was my 5, 10 year plan. And all of a sudden you have a space and it's filled and all these businesses are now on wait lists. And it's like, you did that. So like, I hope you sit down and just like think about that. Like this happened because I genuinely was helping people. And I just think that I hope that you know that because that's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun, like, and then from both ends, it's fun also looking at the clients and they're thriving because they are getting all the support they need.
It's amazing. It was a brilliant idea. Now, what has been your best tool for marketing?
I would say, well, word of mouth is huge for me.
Huge.
Like for me as a speech therapist, I am not great at social media. It's like not something that fuels my fire, although
Mhm.
the social media is really fun. But I would say word of mouth. And then also just the fact that I have children that are 1 and 2 and I am involved, like, I do go to Tiffany
Mhm.
from Mamas. I go to her events and I am at the library and I'm doing all of these things like personal interactions for me are huge. And initially, I was like super shy to tell people that I owned a business. Even still, it kind of feels weird to say, but I would be like, "Oh yeah, I just have this little small speech therapy business." And loud and proud about it. And I'm like, "Hey, like, I do this." And I feel like just, personal interactions, just it coming up in conversation or it coming up in somebody else's conversation. And that goes back to also, with these events and things, even if these families don't need speech and, I see these or any therapy at this point, but then they're in a conversation with their friends and their friend mentions that their pediatrician said something. It's just kind of being at the forefront. So I would say, those personal interactions, the putting on, these
Yeah.
free events or even just interacting with, you or interacting with other business owners and interacting with families truly like I just happen to be in the heat of it because I have children too. So
Yeah, no, it's so true. And like, that's what like we talk about on here all the time. Like obviously social media is never going to go away. It has to be something that we all learn, but when you're a business that physically has a storefront or whatever, you should be in your community. You should be talking to other people. You should be getting to know people because that's going to be what truly helps an in-person business grow. 100.
and I'm the same way, like meeting you and talking to you as opposed to the conversations that we had via Messenger, it just creates so much of a different like
Oh,
level of
100%.
respect and like admiration, and I feel like the same thing when you are physically in front of people.
100%. 100%. And like, I just think that that is so true. It's literally having conversations and, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you're having the conversations, right? Like, if you're an in-person business, yeah, you should be in person. You should be going to these vendor events and put the legwork in because you need to get in front of your community. But
Mhm.
if you are like myself, I'm an online networking business. I need to be online as much as possible to talk and to show people, I'm genuinely here to help you. So it doesn't matter whichever avenue it is, but it's the making connections and going out of your way and getting out of your comfort zone and starting conversations to be like, hello, here I am. I'm here to help. And I just think it's so important.
And that's I think also what like when we spoke first and I was like, "Oh, you're super cool," essentially, was because you do put your face on the business. That took me ever to do, and I still like, if you see me on my story talking, I probably said that thing 10 times before I actually hit send
Don't
because
rewatch.
I'm not super comfortable with it. So, like, just putting your face out there, it's hard, but you're right. It makes a difference.
It's so hard, and my biggest tips, and it's so funny because this is something that I get asked all the time, like, especially coaching, like, it was, "How do you do that?" I don't rewatch. It's not a joke, it's not something funny that I said, like, I physically will not rewatch whatever I said. I talk as if I'm talking to my best friend all the time, and then I just never rewatch what I said, and
I'm
that's
gonna
it.
you're gonna see some chaotic things. You're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, she didn't rewatch that." You're gonna hey, maybe you should. Other people shouldn't, but you should.
No, it's so true. You just have to think, like, you just have to think to yourself, like, okay, I am talking to the person that I'm genuinely trying to help. Like, I'm talking to my best friend. This is who I'm talking to. And then it's just like, okay, like, that's it. I'm never going to rewatch that. And that's going to be,
Deal.
and then you'll text me after and be like, actually, Brittany, like, that worked. And I am not nervous anymore about it because you don't see yourself anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a go.
You should, because whenever I rewatched, it was, oh my gosh, the way this looked weird. Man, oh, is that a pimple? Is that, oh, like, enough. Like, everybody that in person has to see me the way that I am. So everybody online should see me the same exact way. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, like, we're all watching it with our messy buns up and our
Yep.
pajamas on. It's, like, realizing that too is like, my audience is moms who are
Yeah.
watching this probably with, like, spit up on their shoulders.
Just thinking that.
They love it.
It's so true. It's so true. And it just brings you that much closer. Cause, like, I remember, especially doing the children's books in the beginning, what made my account stand out from others is that they didn't constantly show children. And for me, you have to come to a term of if that's a safe space for you or not. And I just am the type of person that I really do look at my following. So, like, if you follow me, I'm going to your account and I'm going to check if you're real or not. And if you're not, it's an instant block. No offense. But, like, if you're a bot or if you're a guy, most likely you're getting blocked. But that's just like there's no, this isn't a space for you, so it's okay. But you just have to kind of see what you're okay with doing and what you're not, and then go with it. But when you are authentically you and you're showing your life a little bit, I skyrocketed way more than when I was just hiding behind graphic posts of my books.
Yes, 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 I agree. And that's been like the feedback I'll frequently like ask my followers personally. Like I'll
Yeah.
message people who are actually interacting with my stuff and I'll say, "Hey, like, what do you want to see?" And they're like, "You." And I'm like, "I don't know.
Really?
Are you being honest?" And it's like, yeah,
We
like
share.
Canva, thing that every single person has posted with different information. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's the personality. It's really honestly the authentically you. Like, it really, I cannot express this enough, and it's so funny because this will forever live rent free. Like, obviously, I've been building Money Hungry Mama all summer long and really going hard on this, so I pulled back from my children's book account, and I had a message from someone I have never once interacted with in my life to ask if I was okay and why I wasn't showing what I was doing in the summer. I was like, first off, thank you for caring. Second off, that's when I realized that it's real life TV for some people. It's like, I like following, I like seeing what's going on. I'm the same way. There are certain people when their little circle comes up, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I need to know what you're doing. It's so true. It's like, it's Bravo right on your phone.
Yes, yes,
So,
110%. I'll take
s-
that over Bachelorette any day.
yeah, don't even. I used to love that show. Now it just makes me so aggravated. Jacqueline, I need to ask you, what does being a money hungry mama mean to you?
Being a money hungry mama to me means that like showing my children what this means to create my own, follow my own dream,
Love it.
create my own dream, follow my own dream. For me, just setting an example of doing what you love to do, doing what you want to do, saying no to the things that you don't want to do. And that's okay. And to be honest, money hungry probably like if you're thinking of it just money hungry, right?
Yep.
Probably really doesn't describe me.
Mm-mm.
Not actually rich, nor do I want to be, but, I am so rich in other ways, like
Yep.
Just I am home with my kids 99% of the time, which you wouldn't
Love
believe.
it.
And I love that they got to see me build, and it was, listening to you talk about your 8-year-old, like, that to me is the epitome of what it means to me to be, like, a money hungry mama when my child is 8 to be able to say, like, "Wow, that's really cool. You built that place."
I
So
love
that's
it.
for me.
I love it. And it's so true. And it's like, why I love asking that question is because it means so many things for so many different people. And it's just like, the one recently that I got that literally, like, brought tears to my eyes was she said it was, like, fearless to put yourself out there, to talk on a camera, to let people know that your business exists. And it's just like, it's so validating because that's exactly what we talk about. Like, whenever you start a new business, you get nervous, you get scared, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, is anybody gonna like it? Like, what are the I say normal, like, what are the people that see me every single day going to think about me now doing something like this? And it's like all these opinions that when push comes to shove, literally do not matter because they're not living in your four walls. And I just think it took so long to get to that point. And it's just like, hearing these conversations and getting the messages like from you, I don't think anybody truly understands like what they mean to somebody that's just starting, like me or Jacqueline. Like those messages of taking your time to be like, hey, I really like what you're doing. I really think that this is cool is incredible because in our mind, it's like, oh my gosh, it's embarrassing that I just put myself out there. It's, oh my gosh, I didn't have makeup on. Like, nobody's going to think anything. Like, they're probably worried about my pimple on the thing. And it's like,
Mhm.
that's what we're telling ourselves. So, for taking those 2 seconds to be like, I appreciate exactly what you did here. I love your business. Like thinking of the therapy hub was like incredibly brilliant. And I think those little shifts of positive remarks mean more than you will ever know. Because if you could sit there and love Taylor Swift and sell out every single concert and go to all these things, you can tell your like speech therapist, hey, you did a really good job today. Or like your dentist, like, hey, like my tooth feels good. So just kind of keep those things in mind because I think it's so incredibly important to realize that every small business owner, every mom that's on here is literally pouring her heart and soul into a business while pouring her heart and soul into raising beautiful little humans. And I just hope that the ones listening realize that you're not alone in doing that because it can be scary, but this is a whole community of doing it. So you are welcome with us anytime.
Thank you. I love what you said too, like just that even like what you said about the compliments too, and like tying that in is so true. I feel like for the longest time I was like, oh, I wanted to tell that person that I really liked what they did, or I really like what they're wearing, or, I think that their child is really polite, right? Like when those things happen for the longest time, I would keep them to myself because I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm silly or like, oh, they're, whatever thoughts I fed myself. And now being on the opposite end of it, like people telling me, oh, I think this is really cool that you're doing this, or, oh my goodness, like whatever they say to me. And I love it so much. I'm able to now say it to people and to tell you like, oh, I think you're super cool. Like I would have never done that years ago. So I love that. Like I think that that is super special and you're like creating a place for people to be able to do that because I feel totally at home commenting on all your posts to say, hey, that's a really cool business, or hey, I really like what that person said and I don't feel silly at all.
I love that you just brought up that like it's creating that space for you to feel comfortable to do that at anybody's because in my mind, and you're gonna crack up laughing, but everybody here has experienced it. The girl in the bathroom. Like when we were
Mhm.
younger and we were drinking, and all of a sudden, either she's crying in a corner or she's just really pretty, and you're like, oh my God, I love your lipstick. And like you hype each other up because it's the best night of your life. That's exactly how I want this community to be is like always being that girl in the bathroom vibe. You might never actually meet in person. You might never even remember each other again, but you were comfortable being like, hey, you freaking rock, and he's not worth it. And
Mhm.
that's the vibe that I want all the time.
The legacy I would love to leave for myself and then for my daughter to see growing too is that, like, I don't feel any type of way telling anyone that I think that their eyes are gorgeous, like, because I have done it so many times.
Oh, so many times. So many times. I literally was like walking into ShopRite and somebody was walking out and she had the coolest glasses. I was like, oh my gosh, I love your glasses. And she like kind of stopped and I was like, no, seriously, like I love your glasses. And she was like, thank you. Like, and like you could tell she was just so proud of the fact that somebody acknowledged what she was putting into in an effort of being a fashion statement because her whole ensemble, like she was rocking it. It's like things that I wish that I could go out in a bold statement and be like, "Yes, I'm gonna come out into the world and people are gonna notice who I am," but instead I wear, like, the black leggings with the black sweatshirt, and it's just like, that's what I do. But, like, I will always comment on the women who are rocking those bold statements forever.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what you're creating.
I love it, and that's what you are creating at the Therapy Hub with all of these businesses that you are literally are getting waitlisted.
Thank you.
I
That's all the girls too that are there. Like, I will say we vetted not only the business and the professional, but I
Mhm.
also like, do you fit the vibe for every single person that was in there? And some people didn't fit the vibe, and that's okay. But everyone who's there right now was like just a queen who wanted to like
Love it.
fix everyone else's crowns too. And I was like, okay, that's what we need. Oh, do you?
Chills. I have chills. The queen that fits the queen that fixes the other's crowns. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Oh my gosh, you might hear that again in the future. That was amazing, and I hope I always remember that you said it. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Jacqueline, you have been a ray of sunlight, and I'm so excited that you were on today. I love what you are building. If anybody is listening that is interested in building something like this, coming to it, getting to know Jacqueline more, where can they find you and support you?
You can find me on at my location. So you can find me in Manahawkin. But if you're not there, you can always slide into my DMs on the Therapy Hub or on Just Speechy. I'm literally always open to talking with any other parents, anyone who is thinking of starting a business, especially if you're a therapist. I can't tell you I'll know all the answers, but I will tell you when I don't know the answers, and I'll tell you what I did to get where I am.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me.